When you have a film that becomes a phenomenon all over the world, it's a wonderful thing. It just makes you feel good that you could touch the culture in that way. It sort of gives one, as a director, you get a certain confidence from that.
One day I read an article on quantum physics and parapsychology, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to marry this concept in a fantasy, that there could actually be equipment that would enable one to, entrap a phantom spirit.
Oh, nice shooting, Tex.
Then when they came to me with the Ghostbuster concept, I had just finished directing National Lampoon's Vacation, the first one. And I really looked forward to working with Bill and Danny and Ivan on this one. I love the premise, and Ivan and I really saw eye to eye on how to reshape the script.
I thought for this movie to be successful, that it was important for us to sort of really believe in the occurrences. If you just tell someone, by the end of the movie, there's this marshmallow man who's 150 feet tall and he's walking down Central Park West, you can't believe it. So you have to try to figure out a series of steps that will allow that believability to occur. How we achieve that is by starting them in a very sort of mundane, realistic situation. They work at a university, they're scientists, they're not doing particularly well, they get kicked out, and they decide to set up a business themselves.
Personally, I like the university. They gave us money and facilities. We didn't have to produce anything. You've never been out of college. You don't know what it's like out there. I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
And it's dealing with all those things in the sort of first act of the movie that makes you sort of believe in the truth of it.
I believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe that we were destined to get thrown out of this dump.
For what purpose?
To go into business for ourselves.
It wasn't difficult striking a balance between the scary stuff and the comedy, because so much comedy comes out of tension and fear anyway.
I'd finally showed my 8-year-old son the Ghostbusters movies. I'd waited to show them to him, and my 4-year-old tagged along. And I wanted them to like the movie, but I didn't want them to be too scared. And they both really liked them both and saw them over and over. And at one point, my 4-year-old finished watching Ghostbusters 2 and turned to me and said, "Dad, you're a really good scientist." I thought that was the highest compliment of all.
Yeah, he is a good scientist, a great writer.
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
My kids have pretty well liked all my movies. I remember how excited they were when they saw it. There was something very special about the film, and it touched children in a very special way.
Somebody blows their nose and you want to keep it?
Come on. Oh.
He slimed me.
Both the children who are of age to watch movies have seen both movies. Yeah, and they love Slimer, obviously. They've asked me, do I believe in ghosts and are ghosts real? And I can't lie to them, and I have to tell them that I do believe, and I do believe they're real. I guess what's funny is their wide-eyed response. They're expecting me to say, well, no, it's just a movie, but I'm not going to say that to them because I respect their intelligence and their perception as little beings, and this is a part of our culture and the physics of our planet is that people do really leave bioelectric residues behind when they go. I guess it was kind of funny to see the kids' reactions when I actually sat them down and talked to them about it, and now they're fascinated by it as little researchers, and they love to hear ghost stories, and they will be equipped for some of the revelations that we're about to see in the new millennium.
What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Even if they're not real, you take the premise that they're not real. Well, they're very real in our culture, in our folklore.
Heck, my grandma used to spin yarns about a spectral locomotive that would rocket past the farm where she grew up.
They're as real as fairies were 100 years ago. Today aliens have replaced fairies. And you see them on bumper stickers and in shops, and you see the alien head, and we know about abductions, and everyone knows about Roswell. And whether it happened or not, or whether this is going on or not, it is part of our folklore, and I find that interesting from a sociological standpoint.
You know what it could be? Past life experience intruding on present time.
Could be erased memories stored in the collective unconscious. I wouldn't rule out clairvoyance or telepathic contact either.
I'm sorry. I don't believe in any of those things.
Well, that's all right. I don't either.
And all of Murray's exchanges with Sigourney were great. because he was playing that kind of coy romantic thing while also being naughty and, as only Bill can do,
We never talk anymore. Easy. I make it a rule never to get involved with possessed people. Actually, it's more of a guideline than a rule. I can...
I want you inside me.
Go ahead. No, I can't. Sounds like you got at least 2 people in there already. Might be a little crowded.
When Billy and I, we sort of kind of had a little conversation in which we, I guess, acknowledged to ourselves how good the work was feeling.
We are on the threshold of establishing the indispensable defense science of the next decade. Professional paranormal investigations and eliminations. The franchise rights alone will make us rich beyond our wildest dreams.
I'm often asked, when did you know that this movie was going to be as successful as it turned out to be?
I guess we had maybe a little bit of a feeling halfway through that we might be making something special.
Danny and I, as we were getting into this, we thought, this is going to be huge. This cannot fail.
I think it was the first day of filming, one of the montage shots, which was 4 guys in full dress, backpacks, running around with traps in their hands. I had been sort of setting up the shot, and here they came as a group together. It was the first time I saw them all dressed up in a real location with the stuff. And I had this extraordinary shiver down my back. It was an image I had never seen before, and it was an image that just seemed to be right.
It seemed so funny on the page, and we just knew how the casting would work out. We trusted each other so implicitly because of our mutual training at Second City.
There was a great comfort in working with these guys because there was a shorthand involved in. But more than that, there was the comfort that you didn't have to watch your back.
Working with Ivan as a director and having confidence in him, it allowed me to focus on my work as an actor, but also on my work as a writer, like just doing fixes every day on the set or participating in the improvised material or helping the other actors improvise stuff.
There's something very strange about that man. Listen, I'm usually very psychic, and I have a terrible feeling that something awful's gonna happen to you. I'm afraid you're gonna die.
It's all explainable within the realm of physics as we know it. There's really nothing that can't be explained. If you can even grasp the concept of ghosts if you think about molecules and hydrogen in the air and how it's all composed of molecules, and the ether and air around us really has a substance and it's all moving. And you have atoms which make up everything in nature. You have a nucleus, and then you have particles rotating around that nucleus. Well, what's in between? There's space in between that, and I think the space in between the nucleus of an atom and an electron is as infinite as the space out there. So, think in those terms, anything is possible. It can all transmutate and change. And, you have to understand spirits and phantasms. You have to take into account the Big Bang, what people are saying about parallel dimensions. And I encourage people to keep reading and keep an open mind.
Symmetrical book stacking, just like the Philadelphia Man's Turbulence of 1947.
You're right. No human being would stack books like this.
My favorite moments making the film were on the big stage at Columbia with the huge rooftop set filling almost the entire stage and getting blasted in the head with air cannons.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes!
The whole career, I guess, kind of changed after the first movie because it was so successful.
It just opened a lot of doors in lots of ways.
It underscored my credentials as a screenwriter, so I've been able to get other things done as a result of it.
When the movie was out the summer of '84, I was in New York working on something else, and we were like, heroes. We walked down the street, and people would virtually cheer when they saw us. It was great.
Why Ghostbusters was special, I think, in my life was that it was kind of a culminating moment of work with a group of people that I'd worked with before, and we had learned to work together in a really unique and special way. To have a film that worked out as well as Ghostbusters was extraordinarily satisfying and very happy.
It's certainly one of the movies I've made that I really do like,
And I said, there's something about this movie that's going to just jump. And it did.
I love this town!
Hi there, it's Debbie. We all know that many movies include very practical effects, mostly to convey realistic experiences. But did you know that the Ghostbusters scene with a huge marshmallow man involved 22 kilos of shaved cream collected by the crew in 500 batches? That brings putting an effort to a whole new level. Remember to click below to subscribe, and if you like my t-shirt, you can get it at the shop link in the description.